I still can't believe how many belts are in AEW. And not just the number of belts, but all the different iterations, colors, and names for every belt. Tony Khan and AEW do not understand what makes a championship special or how to use championship belts to build up a wrestler, or even a story. They don't even understand the concept that not all feuds need a belt. And at this point, it's hilarious. Today, we're going to talk about how AEW Championships have become a parody of themselves and why it doesn't mean shit to be a champion in All Elite Wrestling. Because the belts I buy at TJ Maxx that fall apart within 6 months are worth more than any AEW belt. Dead ass. Subscribe in Swahili. Who's that title belt? Tony Khan's title belts don't feel like AEW championships. They feel like ADHD championships. That's not a championship belt. It's a collector's item. And it's giving gotta catch 'em all. Not only are there too many AEW championships, each of them always have to go through some sort of transformation. Here's what I mean. The AEW Championship was rechristened as the Big Burberry belt after MJF won it. Then it went back to normal after he dropped it to Samoa Joe. MJF is now the American champion. But last month it was called the International Championship. Last year it was called the All-Atlantic Championship. And when Will Ospreay wins it back in London, I bet it'll either be rechristened the British Championship or the Dave Meltzer Lineal Heavyweight title. Hook is the former FTW champion, which stands for F the World. But then Chris Jericho beat him for that title, so now it's the For the World title. When the Acclaimed won the Trios Championships, they turned them pink and made them into scissor belts. Every time there's a new TNT champion, those belts change colors. The TNT titles have been red and gold, and it doesn't matter if they're black or white. Jack Perry might as well star in a Michael Jackson music video talking about, oh! Stay with me here. AEW added the Continental Championship as part of the Triple Crown Championship, but then they split those belts up, so now people only give 1/3 of a shit about that belt. And in addition to all the sanctioned and unsanctioned belts on AEW TV, AEW features belts from other promotions and even ceremonial championships, because AEW is the realization of Gen Z as a wrestling company, where belts are participation trophies. In fact, the AEW women's division alone currently features 5 belts: the AEW Women's World title, the AEW TBS title, the New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong Women's title, the Women's CMLL Championship, and the Women's Owen Hart Championship. And that's not even counting the ROH Women's Championship and the ROH Women's Television Championship. It's the New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong Women's Championship title! This past week on Dynamite is the perfect example of AEW obliterating what it means to have a championship belt. Let's break it down segment by segment. AEW Dynamite opened with American champion Maxwell Jacob Friedman taking on Kyle Fletcher. By the way, I love this American champion gimmick MJF is doing. He's one of the best in the world at getting heat, and he's doing just that by radicalizing the International Championship as a xenophobic American title. But this gimmick loses steam once you realize literally everybody in AEW gets to change the look of the belts that they win, including MJF himself with the Triple B belt. Anyway, American champion MJF opens the show against Kyle Fletcher and wins by cheating. Classic Max. Then in the next segment, Mariah May brings out the Women's Owen Hart Championship. Mind you, this is the #1 contender for the AEW Women's World title, but still, Mariah May gets to have a belt too, like it's an emotional support animal. By the end of this segment, there's an appearance from AEW Women's World Champion Toni Storm. So that's 3 championship belts in 4 segments. The next segment features FTW champion Chris Jericho on commentary. We then head to a very well done interview with Jim Ross, Swerve Strickland, and Swerve's AEW World title. After that, we get a break from title belts with a trios match. But in the very next segment, out comes Mercedes Moné with 2 title belts, the TBS title and the New Japan Strong Women's Championship. So now we're back to averaging 1 belt per segment. By the main event, just about every segment has featured a title belt, so it feels like everybody gets to win a title, which defeats the purpose of winning a championship in AEW in the first place. The main event featured men's Owen Hart champion Bryan Danielson versus Jeff Jarrett, but to his credit, Bryan did not walk out with his ceremonial belt, which kind of makes you wonder why #1 contender Mariah May walked out with her Owen belt in the exact same situation. Who's that title belt? Every segment doesn't need a belt. In WWE, the 3 biggest feuds have nothing to do with the championship. The story of CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre is them 2 niggas hate each other. Fuck a belt, they're feuding over a bracelet. Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa are feuding over tribal beads. And Damian Priest versus Finn Balor is a story of betrayal with no title needed. Sometimes feuds are better when driven by emotion rather than hardware. It really builds a deep connection with the fan base, the way Damian Priest became vulnerable and adopted the fans as his family in the absence of a championship. And when Priest prevails over Balor, he'll build on that strong connection with his newfound fan base, and it'll mean more when he wins the title, similar to the build-up to his Money in the Bank cash-in. That's why WWE Championships are so valuable despite there being so many of them. I talk all about that here. It's the Alabama Red TNT Championship title belt. A theme I keep noticing between AEW and WWE is AEW books out of addiction and WWE books for emotion. When AEW adds a title or signs a free agent, there never seems to be a plan. It's just something they do for clout. AEW signed Okada, and my man is literally just chilling. Get it how you live. Like, that's Okada, and you're paying him to say beach with a funny accent like the world's most expensive ChatGPT? WWE signed Jacob Fatu, and healthy or not, every time he appears on screen, he steals the entire scene. And just like Solo Sikoa went from enforcer to rogue leader of the bloodline, a lot of people are clamoring for Jacob Fatu to go from enforcer to leader of the bloodline. Especially people who think wrestling is real, like Brian Alvarez. Those beads are real to me, damn it! AEW belts are decorations. WWE titles are championships, to the point where even WWE's sentimental items feel more important than most AEW titles. Seriously, what are you more interested in? CM Punk chasing that friendship bracelet, or Bryan Danielson finally getting motivated enough to be bothered to chase the AEW title? Think about that for a second. AEW belts are so meaningless. Bryan Danielson had to be motivated to want AEW's most important title as part of their own storyline. You cannot make this up. If Bryan Danielson didn't give a shit about the AEW title until the final couple of weeks before All In, then why should I? Because I don't. Who's that title belt? The hot pink AEW Trios Championship title belt. Check out this playlist and subscribe. Does it mean anything to be a champion of anything in AEW? What means more, CM Punk's bracelet or the AEW World title? Roman Reigns' tribal beads or the AEW World title? Seriously, tell me in the comments.